It's not the wind. It's not the full moon. It's the end of term. Yay! Hi guys, welcome to Talk and Chalk. I'm Beck. I'm an assistant principal in Southwest Sydney, and I am currently at the point in the school year where we are now winding up and getting ready for Christmas. For my colleagues overseas who work on a different timetable, or different schedule I should say, in Australia we run our school years the same as the calendar year. So we start off at the end of January after we celebrate Australia Day, and we finish up just before Christmas. We have 4 terms in the year, so we're at the end of 4th term. Reports are now getting finalised, and we are hitting a bit of a chaotic season for most schools. So this is the time when we all have presentation days or school concerts, or sometimes there's last minute fundraisers. We have thank you breakfasts or dinners or afternoon teas or whatever, and there's just lots and lots going on the calendar. So this is the point of the year now where kids are getting very, very excited. It's the end of the year. Some kids get very, very anxious because they know that they're going to be changing teachers, possibly, depending on the scenario that you've got at your school. We've got year 6 kids going into year 7, preschool going to kindy, some kids starting preschool as well. So, you know, everyone's emotions are on high. Plus, we've got teachers that might be changing schools, going on to a grade that they're not prepared for. And this is just a really, really, really crazy time of year for teachers in Australia. So we're counting down. At the time that I film this, it's about 2.5 weeks off the end of term. Some schools finish at different times, but generally New South Wales department teachers, we all finish around the same time. But this is the point now where we notice that the kids' behaviour reflects all of the chaos that's going on. And we know that kids feed off what we're doing. They, you know, like babies, they feed off our emotions. They understand that things are going on, and the routine is a bit chaotic. Sometimes they'll just go with the flow. Sometimes it might make them a little bit anxious. Sometimes it will set them off, make them a bit ratty, and other kids will maybe just feed on our emotions as well. So this is the time of year when it will feel pretty crazy, and we'll start thinking, why are the kids acting the way they do? They've been so beautiful all year long, or they know what our routines and procedures are. And you'll have kids saying things like, where are the tissues? Seriously? You mean after, you know, all year of them being in the same spot, you want to know where the tissues are? Really? Really? They're right over there. You know, moments like that happen. And sometimes our patience might wear a little bit thinner than it normally does. So this is a good point to take stock of what we're doing, reflect on our practices in the classroom, just to keep things really, really calm and organised for the end of the year. Kids will see us preparing for the end of the year, and they'll start reflecting on that and responding to that as well. If you can keep your routine as, you know, standard as you possibly can, that's great. Stick with it, because that will keep behavior issues, you know, and routine issues to an absolute minimum for you, which is really good. Other ways that you can deal with this are just generally the organization that you have in your class for the day. So we might need to go back to basics. You know, the class has been so well trained that, you know, at this point, I don't even line them up anymore. They just, you know, go straight into the room. But if things are getting too chaotic, you might need to go back to, all right, guys, let's get into 2 lines today. Who's listening? Who's listening? Who's listening? You're ready. Okay, this is what you're doing today. Tell me what you're doing today. Excellent. Walk in the classroom. Or if your routine is to start on the floor, go in. Let's go in and sit down on the floor. Now, I've told you before from my other videos, my kids, I don't even do a warm-up thing for the day. They go straight in and start their familiar read. But if they're getting too ratty and chaotic, I'm going to start going in and sitting them down and reminding them of the expectations for the day. Remember, this is what you're doing. Right, you go get your book. You go get your book. You go get your book. And it just sends them off in a nice, calm, settled way. So going right back to those things that sometimes we do right at the beginning of the year with the kids. Bring back in reminders about your 6Ls. And for those of you who haven't looked up 6Ls, I highly recommend that you do. Just type it into Google. Some will call it the 5Ls. So it's hands in laps, eyes looking, ears listening, lips closed. How many did I do? Hands in, legs crossed, sorry. And then the 6th one is learn, ready to learn. I have these stuck up in my room. So, I mean, I haven't referred to them for ages, but recently I have been. Right, show me you're using your 6Ls. Show me you are ready to learn. Just bringing it right back to basics there. Another thing that you might want to do is just be aware of what you're doing in the classroom as well. that can, you know, be an indication to the kids that things are different. Things like taking down displays, packing up furniture, emptying things out, or sending books home. Those are the kinds of things that kids will respond to. And at this point, you know, we've still got 2.5 weeks of good learning time to happen. You know, whether or not you've finished your books and all those sorts of things, try and leave those things maybe to the end of the day, not doing it throughout the day, because once it's going throughout the day, that's when kids pick up on it, and then they'll, you know, respond depending on how they'll respond. Things like taking down displays and whatnot. Yeah, sometimes, you know, where the kids are at that point where they're doing Christmas craft or whatever, or things have changed, and you've got a good opportunity to do that. And I'm not saying don't do that. You do what works for you. You know your class, you know your kids best. So, you know, this is just things that I've done and had to respond to. Maybe leave those things till the end of the day as well, or doing it, you know, after school, so that they'll come back and maybe 2 posters are gone or something like that. Really, at this point, you should be keeping up things like your word walls and word charts and anchor charts and things, because like I said, we've still got 2.5 weeks of good learning there that we want to utilize. We're getting prepared for our kids to have 5 to 6 weeks off where we know they go backwards in that time. You know, there's research that shows that some kids more so than others, but there's a little bit of regression there depending on, you know, what they're doing while they're at home. We want to make sure that we're not adding to that amount of time that they're going to regress in. That's 2.5 extra weeks. That's, you know, 8.5 weeks. It's 2 months there that they could be off if we're not utilizing that time. And that doesn't necessarily mean not doing Christmas craft or anything like that, or whatever celebration it is that you're going to do at your school. Utilize those opportunities to still engage in reading, writing, comprehension, you know, public speaking, creating STEM, all those sorts of things. So having those activities. One thing that I like to do with my class when I find that they're getting really, really, really off towards the end of the term is I purposely give them a day off. So what I do is I have rotations of activities set up, and I have laminated cards that have it, and there's a different station around the classroom. And we spend about 2 hours in that morning session just engaging in those activities. So one station will be Lego building. And now keep in mind, they're still using their critical thinking, problem solving, you know, verbal skills, socializing with those kids to do that particular Lego activity. And then there'll be a craft activity where I've just got tons of crap on the table, like crepe paper and paddle pop sticks and pipe cleaners and everything. And there's different things on there that they can make. Another station is just a free drawing station with some examples of what they could do. A free writing station, same way you would free writing have in your must-do, can-do activities. I'm trying to think what the other stations were now as well. Puzzles. There was a puzzle station there. These are things that still, they're getting their minds moving, but they're in small groups. They're timed. And then they rotate around the room. Yes, this is 2 hours of time that might look like free play. It might look like unorganized play. It might look unstructured, but we know as teachers we can control that environment. So I'm putting things in there that I know are beneficial for them. And it's a day that they think that they're playing. So they get a nice debrief. It's a mental break. They get to play. They get to have fun. I go and join them in activities as well. So it's just a bit interesting and different, you know, for me to just be sitting and just doing a puzzle. That's it. Randomly, I'm doing a puzzle with someone. It's a bit different as well. So keep stock of, I guess, those things in the classroom towards the end of the year, and just, you know, really rein in your procedures. If you've got, you know, behavior charts and points and things like that, this is the time of the year that we tend to get a little bit lax on it, because we know that it's towards the end of the year. And it doesn't mean we're bad teachers. It doesn't mean that we're not, you know, utilizing our skills in the classroom. We just know stuff comes up. It's the end of the year. Our kids are pretty well trained. But if you notice that things are going off the rails, they're not quite as good as they have been going, you need to rein it in. You need to tighten up those procedures and go back to what you were doing. You know, dish out the points if need be. Dish out the stickers, the stamps, whatever it is that you use in your class, just to rein it back in a little bit and keep that behavior on track. Because really, the longer you leave it, the harder it's going to be towards the end of the term. And then, you know, we're not going to enjoy the last few weeks that we've got with our wonderful kids that we've had all year long. Another thing that is a good pick-me-up is just go back to the beginning of the year and look at the beginning of their books. Talk to the kids about that as well and show them how well they've been doing. And when they see how far they've come, that will keep them self-motivated to stay on task for the next couple of weeks and really get a bit more out of what they're doing and show it off. And just seeing that difference, you know, helps you as well. If you haven't finished writing reports, definitely do that and look at how far they've come, because when you do that and make that comparison, The kids love it. They feel so proud of themselves. And you ask them, say, which one do you think looks better? Look at what you're doing. Look at all these different things that you're doing now. You've reached your goals. This is wonderful. The last thing that I do with my kids in the last couple of weeks is I put together what do you call them? Microsoft Word sheets of all the photos that I've taken throughout the year. Not literally all of them, there's way too many to do that. But I try and get as many photos as I can for them, and I let them make a collage. So I just get out, you know, colored paper, scrapbooking paper, you know, stickers and things that they can stick on it. And I turn it into a writing task as well, where they can write, you know, their favorite thing this year or a highlight from the year. So you grab lots of those pictures, print them out. Doesn't matter if it's black and white or color or whatever you can do. The kids don't care because they can color in borders and put stickers on it and decorate it themselves. And they'll just make a lovely collage of the different pictures from things that they've done throughout the year. It could be group photos, individual photos, pair photos, whatever. They can write little labels underneath each photo saying who they're with or what they were doing. And then, you know, you can turn it into a writing task as well. And I have a learning journal for my kids from throughout the year with just some work samples across the year. I let them put the collage at the end of the learning journal before it goes home to parents. So that's always a fun thing to do, and it's really engaging. And some kids really put a lot of effort into it and want to do more than one page. And if you've got the capacity to print off lots and lots of photos, well, then they can do that as well. Okay, this was really all over the place today. My next video is going to be on storage and decluttering for over the holidays. I'm going to take some videos throughout this week, just various things that I do and some tips that I've got to share with you guys. So that should be up this weekend. Thank you very much to all my new subscribers. I am so close to reaching 1,000 subscribers before Christmas, which will be a lovely Christmas treat. Can't believe there's nearly 1,000 of you listening to me waffle on, but I'm glad that a lot of you find it beneficial. Thank you to the people that have sent me some personal messages. I love hearing from you guys, and I really, really respect the wonderful feedback that you've been giving me, and I value it because it means that I can make better videos for you guys as well. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you just hover over the little button here, click to subscribe, help me get to 1,000. We'll see if we can do it before Christmas. And what I will do is, just in case you missed the other video, I'm going to put the video up here that is the highlight reel from the Science and Maths conference that I'm part of the committee on. We had it a couple of months ago now, so the highlight reel has been put together and we're already in preparations for next year. I don't want to give away the keynote speaker just yet because it hasn't been confirmed, but it's great. So check out the video from this one, see what it looks like when you come to conference. We had over 200 delegates this year. I'd love to see more. Thanks, guys. Bye.